Well, talking about technology, I think it's so important. But what's your take on these red light cameras that have come up around the city? You know, some citizens have been for it, some are against.
I'm basically not a big fan of the red light cameras for numerous reasons. One is that there's really government, I don't think, should contract out services that it should be providing to for-profit companies. And so just on a very general term, I'm not in favor of it. However, I've also seen studies where some of these intersections where these cameras have been placed are actually more dangerous now, in terms of accidents, number of accidents and severe accidents, than they were before the cameras. And if you go by any of these intersections that have these cameras in place, you can see all kinds of really deep, like
the skid marks.
Yes, sir. Skid marks are just like really prevalent at almost all these intersections where people slam on the brakes to avoid getting a ticket. And that in itself seems like it would be more dangerous.
Yeah. Maybe one question to you is, what about the times that these cameras may flash? You know, you see, because I've even been one of the lights, I stop and I see nobody in the middle of the intersection and the light flash. Do you feel like there's any checks and balances there?
No, I do not think there's checks and balances. For the average citizen like you or me, if we were to be in a situation where, for whatever reason, we go through an intersection and it flashes and takes our license plate number, it's really hard to argue against a machine, you know. And I think every time it's been in court, it's been upheld because the judges can see, well, it must be right if it's taking a photograph of it. But my point is that it's almost like, I would say, extortion without, you know, in all lowercase letters, because if you and I were to challenge a potential ticket for being a red light, then we would have to pay. It would get reported to our insurance company after we lost. If we just go ahead and pay it without taking it to court and without challenging it, it never gets reported. So it's like an incentive for the companies just to pay them money without ever challenging them.
So, if you're elected as mayor, what would you do? Would you remove the cameras, or would you have further studies?
What I would do is I would have one final study of the number of accidents and the severity of the accidents before and after these red light cameras were in place. And I would make sure to communicate with the city council that this is a very important issue, and you know, because it ultimately should be up to the city council. But I would, you know, based on the study, which I already know some preliminary studies don't come back very favorably for the red light cameras, so I would make sure that the city council was well informed. And if it was true, like I suspect, that these intersections are more dangerous now than they were before, I would do everything in my power to have them removed.